Hey, this is Josh here. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how you can create a mock-up for your custom shoes. I'll be using Pixelmator, but you can use programs like Photoshop, Illustrator, Procreate, Pixelmator, Manga Studio, Mischief. I mean, there's so many programs you can use both on your iPad, your iPhone, your Samsung Galaxy, your PC, your Mac. Just get any digital painting program or primarily digital painting program and go from there. But anything that I do, you should be able to do in those programs that I just listed and try it out.
Alright, so essentially what we're doing here is using Pixelmator to just put together some mock-ups. For me, Pixelmator is a program that I use because I like its interface. It works well with the Mac OS. It's basically a cheaper version of Photoshop, but does a lot of things that Photoshop can do. I took a couple pictures of the shoes at different angles so I can have a good idea of the entire look of the shoes. So when I come up with the design, I try and think about how it looks from the top down, from the user of the shoe, from the owner of the shoe, how that looks for that person, and then I also think about what it looks like on the side from the viewer's perspective. So it's an all-encompassing type of design experience I try and keep in mind. Right now I'm watching Hunter x Hunter. I just want to practice doing stenciling. There's a couple reasons why I'm doing this type of design. I googled Hunter x Hunter. I googled Gone actually, and tried to find a picture that works well for what I was looking for. Initially, I actually had already come up with a design on my phone, so essentially I'm just doing it all over again. I wanted to find a picture that encompasses his hair shape because I'm looking at something close to a bust. So as I keep looking, I find the picture and I save it, rename it if you need to, just organize your files. Not going to tell you where to put stuff, but make it easy for you to find it. And then I look for Killua, the same thing. Essentially, I wanted to get the shape of the hair and the silhouette of the character and put them side by side. I also wanted to fill them so that I would eliminate all the detail. I wouldn't have any, eyes, hairlines, highlights, nothing. Just a flat color and the silhouette of the character for you to recognize it. And from a design standpoint, these two characters have clear color differences, green versus purple. So I was essentially looking at blocking out their silhouette using those colors. So essentially you got to open the actual picture file in this case, open them individually. If you're using something on a mobile device, you would do all this all within the same file. But since I'm using a desktop, then you would just essentially bring in separate windows, open the files. And in Killua's case, you realize, okay, first notice that these two pictures have different backgrounds. Gone has a PNG transparent background. Killua has a full colored background. It's a gradient. And Gone is actually a lot easier to work with. I can just copy it and paste it onto the shoe on another layer and then, cut it out as I need to. But essentially with Killua's, it's a bit harder because there's a gradient there and it's not separated on a different layer. Now, if you don't know the things I'm talking about, then you would have to go and learn a little bit more about digital painting programs. The words that I'm using and the way I'm explaining things is how you actually want to think about using any one of these programs. This is something you can carry on from Pixelmator to Photoshop and to other applications, so stick around. So essentially, I use the Magic Wand tool. It's called something different in Pixelmator, but use the Magic Wand tool to select a group of like pixels. I try and go as far as I can. In this situation, I have to click and drag, and as you can see, it's highlighting those areas. So once I do that, I have to hit Shift to add to my current selection, and I'll click and drag again, and essentially that's gonna add, and I keep doing that over and over until I pretty much got the whole area around Killua. In a lot of cases, I would delete that background or something like that, but I don't actually need to. What I'm gonna do is inverse the selection with Shift Command I. On PCs, it would be Shift Control I, and anyway, that's a shortcut. You should be able to find those in the edit or select menu. So after I essentially copy and paste both these guys one by one onto a different layer, I'm actually giving each one of these guys a different layer. The reason why I do that is because I can modify things and I have to worry about affecting another element. But I'm just telling you in general, it's good to use layers because It's very important for organization efforts and to make it easier for you to make edits and not have to make large changes. Layers are your friend. Use layers, please, if you don't use them already. Anyway, so I dropped these two guys on here, resized them a bunch of times just to make sure I understood what was going on. I turned the opacity down. I grouped them first. Command G, Control G. Grouping them allows me to edit both of them in the same way, so I can turn the opacity down on both of them simultaneously without having to select them. You know, once again, little tricks. And that also allowed me to use the lasso tool to select an area where, you know, to cut off where the sole is and just, you know, get rid of that real quick. Then I had to fill it in. So once again, I came in with the exact same tool, which allowed me to select everything. If you look at the layer that Gone is on, you know, there's nothing around him, right? So I just magic wanded, you know, empty pixels. And the reason why this happens where it gets really close to Gone's edge, even though it looks like there's nothing there, is that there's actually a different color pixel. It might be very translucent and hard for you to see, but the computer knows. So it's something that's very binary to think about when it comes to pixels. Filled pixels, low opacity pixels, you know, things that might be just hard for you to see. The computer still has numbers attributed to the value, whether it be pigment or transparency or opacity. So anyway, I had to go and clean that up by going back with the lasso tool. You know, one could say, hey, you might have just used the lasso tool up front anyway, but I was just trying to be, as they say, cute about what I was doing. So anyway, I go back and, you know, clean those up. In this case, you know, I'm adding to my selection each time because I selected the area around Gone's body. But I just wanted you to see the effects of that magic wand tool. It's great, you know, depends. If you can have hard edges, cool. If not, this is what happens. Anyway, so once I got that done, I essentially, you know, inverse that selection again, pick a nice green, fill it in, and I got rid of that and did the same thing with Kilowatt all around. Actually, with Kilowatt, I think I learned from my lesson because I just went ahead and used the lasso tool. This thing out, fill it in, nice little purple. I look at it, I'm like, okay, go. I don't know how I feel about it. Anyway, moving on. So put it on the other side to see what's going on. And, you know, I'm thinking about other things. I'm like, okay, what can I do? Actually, I was just gonna leave that area bare and then have my name in this kind of weird angle going over the toe box on the other side. So I basically looked up, I mean, these are Converses already, and the perforation you see is in the shape of the Converse logo, but I still looked it up anyway just to verify, yeah, it is that shape. So I just used the lasso tool, once again, fill the area that I wanted to work with and just played around with the layout, thickness, redrew it a couple times, you know, subtracted from the selection here and there. My brother came up with the cool idea for me to inverse on either side, so I played with that idea. I actually kind of like it a lot. And after doing some more of that, using the type tool, putting in some text, moving things around, this is what I came up with. This is an easy way for you to create mock-ups for your designs.
So that's how you handle it. Whether you have a Mac, PC, iPhone, Samsung Galaxy, an iPad, a tablet, as long as you have a digital painting program, you can take a picture, bring it in, draw on it, paint on it, really throw some color on and figure out whether your design idea is gonna work. You might change it, you might stick with it, you might, you know, all of these things can happen. And it'll save you a little bit of headache. I hope this has been educational. If you want to learn more about Pixelmator in particular, I am looking to make tutorials on that application. I actually have one on Skillshare. You can look me up on Skillshare, and I have 2 classes already. For me, next steps are to start making some stencils, start looking at the paints that I need, and order those so I can get to actually do the design in real life. If you feel like you learned something, go ahead and throw me a like and a subscribe. I'm gonna make more educational content like this. As I go through a creative process, I share it with you and you can use it as a project for yourself, whether it be personal or you can take it as a skill and apply it to something you already have, maybe sell a product or something like that. But this is Josio. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one. And yeah, let me know what you think about the design.
Got the OG Digger. Chronic is stepping up. Show number 193. Feel the energy. Keep it locked.